It has been a while since we actually had this kind of a meetup. We had our conference in October. Some of you might have been at the conference. Yeah, it was a good one. It was actually a really good one. And it really made me, well, man, let's do a meetup. You know, a meetup where it's a little bit less, you know, formal. We can just hang out and, you know, chew it up and all that kind of good stuff. And we got some good voices here, all of you, frankly. And I just love that we have a community that really cares about things. And more importantly, that we have a chance to really work together, talk together, do things together, all that kind of good stuff. There's a lot of people here doing so many great things. You know, when we started Silicon Harlem in 2014, we were like, I wonder if technology could be part of the culture of Harlem. The answer is what? Yes! And I am so excited about that because we love the arts, we love the music, we love the food, we love the vibe of Harlem 100%, and to be able to have technology be a part of that is quite the honor. And we need it because of our young people moving up, the seniors who are here have to engage in the area of technology. That's what's happening. So, for all those who want to hear, I'm going to do something right out of the bat, which is my top 10 predictions of 2024. Normally I do it at the end, but last year we ran out of time and I didn't really get a chance to really tell everybody what I said about 23. In 23 I said there's going to be a thing called AI, chat, and everybody, but nobody got to hear me tell about that. And I'm lying a little bit. But anyway, so do we have this set up, Yuri? I'm going to take my top 10 right now. I'm going to take my time, which means I'm going to be very fast. And I hope you kind of heard most of it. Some of it you may not have heard of it. But I'm going to be here the rest of the night, so if anybody wants to talk to me specifically, a particular one of these 10, I would love to make sure you get that information from Yuri. All right, so let's go. First thing that I want to talk about is quantum computing. Everybody believe that's something that's happening? The question becomes, how can it be so impactful in places like Harlem or any other community? The number one thing that happens with quantum computing is accelerating everything. Faster, better, quicker. And that's what small businesses need more than anything. You know, there's too many of us losing because the big guys get this quantum stuff already happening. We need to do this now into the communities that we are supporting across this nation. So quantum computing is a real thing. Let's go to the next thing. Who knows what volumetric technology is? Raise your hand if you know volumetric. We got 1, 2, maybe 3 people in this whole place knows what, or some people just too tired, can't raise their hand. But volumetric technology, and by the way, if all goes correctly, we're gonna actually have a volumetric studio right in this location. What that allows you to do is you're creating using volumetric technology from a 3D version. So most things, we got people here that do films and all that kind of stuff, and you know that primarily it's just one way. With volumetric, you can literally make it in 3D. It's a new thing. It's the VR, it's the AR, and all that kind of good stuff. So I want you to remember this, volumetric technology. Clayton Banks talked about it. I'm going to be talking about it the rest of the year. I'm going to build this out in our space so that we can actually teach people about it, learn people about it, because it is a real thing. It includes XR, AR, and all those things, right? Metaverse, all those things you've been hearing about. When you look at the creative part of it, it's the volumetric studio that we'll be building out. Very excited about it. And the state, right? The state, we got Curtis Archer here. State is even looking at these type of things, what they're going to do with filming and all that stuff moving forward. So we're very excited about it. Let's go to the next one. Ready? Yes. Oh, Inspo. You saw that on the invite, I think, right? Hopefully everybody saw it. And some of you might have said, what is Inspo? Everybody know what I meant by Inspo? Good. I hope nobody knew. But if you do, for me, it's about imagination, right? That's the real create opportunity that we're trying to create here. It could be that, exactly. You could actually add that to it. The imagination, because what's happening, and a lot of us are being sort of like, I don't know, pushed away through AI, we start to lose our imagination a little bit because we need that support from AI. I get it. I'm sorry, you want to stay in front of the, I know. Okay, all right. So but I do think that for us to really look at our future to be even better than what we can think is using our imagination. So I wanted that sort of word. It also comes with the word of impact, and all those kind of things are all about inspo built into that. And I hope we'll use that term quite a bit throughout the year, because I do believe that we have an opportunity that maybe once in a lifetime, if you look at the $1 trillion infrastructure bill, when you look at all these things that are happening with the state and the city, this is an opportunity for us to map our future our way, not from someone else. All right, so let's go to the next one, Yuri, thank you. Oh, tech-enabled communities. That is actually, I believe I created that word, tech-enabled communities, because what you hear in the world is smart cities. I don't like the term smart cities, right? What does that make you guys dumb? It's like, nobody's dumb. So we don't say smart cities. I get it's easy to say. But what the reality of Internet of Things and smart stuff, the whole key to it is, how do you make your community more efficient? That's all it is. Make it more efficient, right? A good example is the Bronx, Upper Manhattan and Harlem. Largest, or I guess the greatest number of people that have asthma. Why? Well, we don't know all the whys. There's certainly a lot of it coming from a history. But boy, we're not even like doing enough to measure the I don't know, what are the particulates in those areas. We can do that now with all of these new technologies. So this is about a tech-enabled, and I think 24 will be accelerated on that. And the key to it, to be very good, is to add your voice to it. Here's our problem. See, too many of ours, people who are putting out these smart cities, they don't care what the people want. So they put up all this stuff, including, and I hate to say it, I hope nobody here is from Google. Well, Google did it. Where is anybody from Google here? Okay, good, because I might need their money. So they tried to build a whole city that would be a smart city in Canada, and failed. And they asked, what happened? You know, because they got more money than God. And they were like, oh, we didn't talk to the people. So we put all this stuff out, and everybody's like, no, that's not the problem we're having here. And if you look at Harlem, I don't care. I've been to a couple of mayor things where they come to Harlem and talk to everybody. And I remember one, Curtis, about 15 years ago, and the mayor was talking about, I opened it up to the community and said, what do you guys care about? And they said, well, we need better housing, for affordable housing. We're very concerned about the sanitation in our streets. And of course, as a result, we have rodents and this kind of stuff, right? What happened when I got to another one 15 years later? Same thing. Something's wrong with us, right? So not with us, but with everybody. And we now have this opportunity to really go after these issues. Let's keep going. Neuroscience advancement. Anybody down with that? Hell no, but that's all right. Neuroscience is a real thing. It's a key thing. It really impacts even like workers and employers, people who are having mental issues and all that kind of stuff. So neuroscience is a great way for us to start to help people all over the world, certainly here in New York, where a lot of stress is happening and all that kind of stuff. And this is now actually working. We're seeing it already. So we don't want to be the ones last to this type of information and this type of stuff. We want to be a part of it. Let's keep going. Decentralized technology. Now, normally you probably heard that through blockchain and all that kind of stuff. But it's happening across all of our different types of businesses. So decentralizing it allows us to deal with primarily, in my opinion, is cybersecurity. If you've ever been hacked, if you ever had an issue or some sort of, cybersecurity hit you, it's a pain. It's a real pain, and I've had to help a lot of people with that. But now with decentralizing it, it's a lot more difficult for the hackers to get to you. So there's a lot going on here. Let's keep going. Reshape leadership. I believe that the leaders of our big companies and even some of our middle companies and all that kind of stuff, we got to get new type of thinking around our leadership. It's not the 60s and 70s and 80s anymore. This is a whole new way to think about working with people. All COVID, with the virtual, all the stuff that's going on, there's going to be a reshaping of leadership. You ought to be one of them. Keep going. Ah, look at that, commercial space. I like that one. It's really not tech-driven necessarily, but we do know that space is important. Isn't it nice to be in our little space here? I mean, it's not that big, but it's still, when we have kids here, we have, I think this past summer we had, like, I don't know, somewhere around 24, 20, 30 kids every day. And boy, it was just a space that they had never been in before, and see the kind of things they were able to see. PS5 in the back, and all these different technologies we have in this place. And we know how important space is. So we would need to, that's why I could talk about the volumetric studio and all that kind of stuff. But also we're gonna constantly make sure that my two words I use a lot, which is access and exposure. If we can continue to do that, we'll be great in this particular city. And then I wanna mention 6G. Everybody's been hearing so much about 5G. Let's sweep that on the ground. 5G was cool for a minute. It never really hit you and never really did anything for you. But 6G is a real thing. I've been doing a lot of work on it for some time now, and I believe it's going to make a big difference in a lot of different ways, speed-wise, all kind of different ways. So 6G is a real thing, and so follow that if you can't. At least talk to me about it. I'll be talking to you about it all the time. Oh, then there's advanced infrastructure. That's what a lot of our people here are today, right? Advanced infrastructure. We're now looking at all of the ways we can attach things, how we can use infrastructure to make life better. All that kind of stuff is important. So if you have any, if you care about our community, we gotta deal with the infrastructure. Too many things rocking out, too many things are basically falling apart. We've got a good ways to use it, but that infrastructure can also address some of the issues that are happening in our community if you build out the right infrastructure at the right time. And wow, thank you. Oh, wait a minute, whoa. I do have, okay, click one more. Let's see what else is. Oh yeah, one more, ethical AI. That's right. How could I have a top 10 without talking about AI? So, as good as AI has been to a lot of us in a lot of ways, especially this past year, where, I had a couple of people that, weren't really that literate in some ways, they're telling me that. But when I turn them on to ChatGPT, it's like, boom, I can write a book. And we all have different ways that we learn and all this kind of stuff. But one of the things we gotta be very clear about, that there is ethics to this. And I was at a particular event, I don't know who was there. Oh, it was at our conference. And they were talking about AI, and there was a whole presentation about AI. And one of the things they talked about was called boxed, what do they call that? What is that when they call in your braids? Box braids, is that what it's called? If you put it in ChatGPT at the time, they were like, what is that? A box and a braid? What is that, right? So AI has a lot to go to get even better. It now knows how to say it, for example. But I do know that the ethics of it cannot be prejudice, right? We have to be careful with that. Remember, AI is very much about the past, not so much about the future. So they're looking at things that were really terrible back in the day. So we want to make sure that we are holding the people's feet to the fire when it comes to AI. Thank you very much. I'm Clayton Banks. We're going to get moving on some other stuff. Thank you very much. That's my top 10 predictions. Thank you, Jolie. And now, oh, wait a minute. Just come right up here right now, sir. Come on up. This is my guy. This is my guy, a representation of this community. He lived up here. He's grown up in here. He runs this place. He's my dude. Go ahead.
Good evening, and thank you for coming out to the house of the Lord one more time. Oh, wrong place.
Oh, amen.
Good evening, everyone. I am Assemblymember Al Taylor, Dallas Bell. It's good to see each and every one of you. Oh, this is so amazing because it's brick outside. I'm sorry. It is cold outside, and I figured that no one's going to show up, but if that was or was not the case, I had to make sure that I did not miss it. And I brought some weight with me, too. Commander, where's he at? Look at here. Right. Now, he's in charge of all the PSAs in New York City.
No, not yet. Soon.
Soon come. But I have my chief of staff with me, and we're over there talking and chat. Oh, my goodness. Y'all got the heavyweights in here. Did you introduce her already? Oh, my goodness. Let me drop this so I can get out of here. But Curtis and all of you all is so good. Again, Assemblymember Al Taylor, I live in this neighborhood. I grew up in this neighborhood, and this was, when you talk about Harlem, this was the blackness of Harlem. And for a long time, it went through so many epidemics. So whether it was heroin, whether it was crack, whether it was landlords that left this city that didn't want to do anything, and then to have this here, the brain of what's moving New York City and New York State is just incredible. Like, this is our Silicon Harlem, but this is Silicon Valley right here in Harlem. Are y'all excited about that? How many people from Harlem? All right, but it's okay. It's okay because we welcome everybody. I was just looking for the old heads, but this is my guy right here. This is the coolest, sharpest dressed geek I've ever met in my life. And geek is a very, very good term today because if I knew I could make a whole lot of money back then being like you, I would have never got in trouble, officer. But I wanted to introduce him because he's responsible for across the street. And most of the time there is people talking in here. Most of the time people see cops and officers of the law and they have their own idea. But in Harlem, we work hand in hand, and we are the elected officials that appreciate what they do, and they put themselves on the line every day that they put on that uniform and come out here in these streets and work, and we appreciate you. And I wanted to make sure you two guys met, but I didn't mean to put you guys on full stage like this, but hey, you know what it is? God had a better plan than I did. Thank you very much, and I'm also a reverend, so if you just feel like you missed a couple of Sundays and you feel in some kind of way, see me over in the corner, we can make this thing happen, all righty? God bless you, and thank you so much.
You want him to say anything?
Oh, yes, please.
All right, good evening, everybody. Thank you for giving me a minute or two to speak. So I just came from a tenant association meeting from one of the housing developments, and then I run into Al as I'm going back into the building, and he told me about what's going on over here. So I said, absolutely, let me come over here to speak to everybody, and I am absolutely I have nothing to do with tech. So this is good. So I'll be here again, and you can help train me and teach me because, a cup and a string, and I'm good. But anybody that lives in the housing developments, I'm here. Across the street is my main office, but any development that's within the island of Manhattan, I'm ultimately responsible for. Each PSA, they have their own commanding officer, but I'm their boss. And we're striving to ensure that your quality of life is enhanced by the product, because policing is a customer service agency, the product we produce. So whatever helps you in your quality of life and reduction of crime helps us in our quality of life in reducing crime. So I'm here, all the cops are here. Just as the Assemblyman said, this is a welcoming committee. Just as we walked in, someone said, hey, good evening, have a nice night, and so forth. And I'm a Bronx guy. I'm not from Harlem. There you go.
We like you.
Born and raised. And they appreciate us in the Bronx, but it's a different vibe here in Manhattan, and I appreciate that. So thank you for giving me the time to introduce myself, and I hope to see each of you as we move forward throughout the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Brown. I just want to ask one quick thing. How do we help you? How do we help you particularly? Do you have a donation thing? What's going on?
I can speak in this space. Listen, be a registered voter, first and foremost, and I'm sure you are. If you live in the community and you want to make a contribution, Wendy, tell them.
You can contact me at 917-962-7970, and we'll share that information later on also.
So there'll be a bunch of things that we're doing. And again, if you're a registered voter, that's great, and you live in a community, that's great. Or if you have friends in this community that you know and you like the work that I've done, I'm not a stranger to working hard. I'm not a stranger to doing whatever it takes to get the job done. And I just want to be a servant for a couple of more years. So again, I'm up for re-election, but I'm the guy here in the streets that walk 780 miles, New York City to Chicago, against gun violence. 780 miles. And I didn't know I was going to be an elected official. I wasn't trying to be an elected official. I was trying to bring the drama down that was happening in our communities, and it's only gone up a little bit more. And I would say this: if you want change, then you want to be a part of that change. You must. And if we're not there together and there's one of us hurting, then we have not yet arrived. I just want to say that as we celebrate this week of Dr. King's birthday, Dr. King was as radical as you want to get. He was as radical, so we try to sanitize him and like, I have a dream and everybody. No, he was like, we need to get out of Vietnam. We ought not to be there. We need to make sure that if we're putting our lives on the line, black and brown people matter, and we get the same access to the freedom that we're fighting for somewhere else, we get it at home. So thank you very much again.
Yes. Congratulations, son. Thank you. Definitely.
Thank you all so much. I appreciate it.
Ooh, I'm glad I didn't curse. Okay, so, Josh, why don't you and I talk first? Nah, you and I. Let's go, you and I. Jolie, we're going to go with Josh Breitbart and myself and have a quick conversation. If you want to sit down, the floor is comfortable. No, I'm kidding. It's Yuri or whoever, if we have some of those seating in the other way, let's bring them out here and let people talk and sit. I can't believe I get to talk to Joshua Breitbart.
Well,
By the way,
Clayton, you always invite me to these things because you know all I want to talk about is how great you are and how great Silicon Harlem is. So you always invite me back because that's what I want to talk about.
he took all my money out of my wallet. I'll be damned. So, if you don't know, I'm going to have you, Josh Breitbart, introduce yourself, because I don't want to mess up all your titles and all that. But we're going to have a couple of questions as we go here. And if you guys have questions, as also let me know. But right now, Josh is going to give a quick, let you know who he is.
Well, thank you, Clayton. I'm a friend of Clayton Banks's, and that's really the most important thing in my title.
All right, this is over. Done.
And I have been coming to Silicon Harlem events, I think before Silicon Harlem was named Silicon Harlem.
That is true.
It's very sad to miss the conference in October, but I think that maybe is the only one I've ever missed.
That's true.
Today I get to be the Senior Vice President for ConnectALL at Empire State Development, which means I run the New York State Broadband Office, which is, thank you. I'm from Brooklyn, and I used to work with the city of New York, but now getting to do this on behalf of the state is really a great privilege and opportunity. We are responsible for over $1.3 billion in public funding that's coming from the federal government and the state, and that is going to be invested all across the state in new broadband infrastructure, making sure that people who don't have a connection to their home will get a connection to their home. Making sure that we have a robust broadband marketplace with small providers, big providers, publicly owned infrastructure, privately owned infrastructure that's really thriving across the state. So you have choice of where you get your broadband service from. And digital equity. We'll be making investments in digital equity, which means any barrier to the use of broadband, we want to be hearing about it and addressing it. We're making investments. We actually are joined tonight by the Assistant Vice President for Digital Equity for the State of New York, Megan McDermott, and our Digital Equity Program Manager, Nazir Jeffries. So they are responsible for a $50 million statewide digital equity program.
Whoa. Did anybody just hear that? $50 million. They're in the right place. You're in the right place.
Now, I will say though, the thing about that is it's one-time money. right? So we have to be strategic, because what I can tell you, being in this room and these rooms, these conversations for more than 15 years, is that the need won't end, right? Because technology is changing. It's a different top 10 list this year than it was last year, right? And we need to think about how we educate people every year and keep up with the changing technology. But also, we change, right? We get older, our physical abilities change. So we always have to be thinking about that aspect. And people come to our city, our state, our country with different abilities, different language, needing also the support to really have digital equity. But I do want to talk about Silicon Harlem, because as we've been developing the approach to implementing, this $1.3 billion, we've been all over the state. We've held events in every region of the state. We've worked with coalitions in every region of the state. Silicon Harlem hosted an event here. And one of the things that just, and I say this every time at Silicon Harlem, is if you don't have an organization like, that's even approaching Silicon Harlem, that is what your community needs. Because it is really rare and valuable to have an organization that, first of all, can convene people. And when I mean, people, I mean, academic leaders, political leaders, the youth, the seniors, everybody coming in off the street to be talking about and thinking about, what happens next with technology, what happens now with technology. But not just, the high tech, because you're also, making sure that people have an internet connection, being an internet service provider, making sure people have just a basic device, but then also, does everybody know there's a gigabit center here?
Yes, we have a gigabit center here, meaning that we were able to get fiber brought right into this, the only place that's done it in this building, and we were able to get fiber brought right in here, and we're very grateful to it. It allows for a lot more speed than you would get anywhere else, and we're very proud that we're the only ones that actually have it here in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm. And do you know, I think you know this story, but the way that that gigabit center concept came about with Link NYC, when I was with the city and we were, they kept saying, oh, we're going to build it out, everybody's going to have access to gigabit Wi-Fi, and it's going to be this great platform that everybody can innovate on. And they kept saying that, and then we said, I think it was me and Maya Weil at the time, we said, you say everybody's going to be innovating on this platform. Do you mean everybody's going to be standing out on the sidewalk in 20-degree weather, hacking on this, coding and developing that? And they said, well, no. I said, well, there needs to be a community space that's on the network where people can go and access the network and develop these new technologies that then can be deployed throughout the city. And they said, actually, that's a great idea. We should do a gigabit center in every borough. And what was the top of the list for them, for us, then Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer, everybody said it's got to be Silicon Harlem.
It didn't hurt that when they were getting the franchise, we actually advocated that big time, to your point. And so we actually went to the mayor, we went to everybody to make sure Link NYC was able to not only be deploying on the outdoor, but as a part of that was at least have one location in every borough. And at that time, a gigabit sounded like a really important thing. It's a little different now.
Now we got to make it 100 gigabits.
It's like,
but this is, because you're tied in.
Exactly. That's so good is because being able to show a community what gigabit speed could do was a gold mine. So I was so proud that Link NYC ultimately did do it here. And we're going to continue to keep doing that all over the world. But
then you took it one step further, because that was also the same time where there was a conversation about building this advanced wireless research platform in Harlem, and Columbia was involved, Rutgers, NYU. They got money from the national, wanted to get money from the National Science Foundation to build out this network. And again, it was Clayton and Silicon Harlem who said, okay, but if you're going to build this in Harlem, or what do they call it, Morningside Heights, or whatever they want, or in Harlem, uptown, it's got to have a community connection. And so Silicon Harlem has played a role, and it's not just an advisory role, it's actually physically connected in. The fiber that's coming in here for the gigabit Wi-Fi is also connecting, you have a supercomputer here or something,
Well, and beyond that was
Yeah.
what we actually really looked at the school system in Harlem, and as a result, well, particularly a program for 5G and what you could do with 5G. This was years ago. We still do it, but we created this whole curriculum, and so now you had big companies, right? That we have a 5G thing going on, broadband, right? So we already use in testing with Columbia and all this stuff going on right now. And so big companies want to test on our platform, and it's great. The IBMs, big companies, can we get on this? Can we try this, attachment and all this other stuff? But we took that same to the kids. Kids in high school. We taught the teachers, here's how you can teach these kids to learn a little bit more how you can use 5G. And so now you got, I hate to say it, but Pookie and them were able to go sit right next to IBM on our platform. That's a game changer, people. That's what you're doing.
Truly, when you put 6G up there, Clayton's not exaggerating. The 6G, the technologies that are going to make up 6G are being tested, developed, researched on the platform that Silicon Harlem is a part of. And because of that work of getting the school system involved, getting the teachers, trained on how to use that as an education device, an education platform for young kids in public schools up in the district around here and throughout the city, it means that innovation over the next 10, 20 years is going to be driven by and have the participation of and leadership of, and hopefully also the ownership at the company level, right? Because the digital divide is not just about who uses the technology, but who owns the companies that sell the technology. So we got to address that equity at every level. But that continuum of who is going to be shaping 6G and what comes next, Silicon Harlem is making sure that it's happening here and that young people have a pathway to get connected, and that it's addressing the kind of needs that you say that you were talking about before that are persistent here. And so again, those needs aren't the same in every community, but that concept of you have to have it locally rooted. You have to have all different stakeholders. You have to have industry, academy, community, young, old, everybody coming together to different languages, different cultures, different abilities to figure out what are the ways to use the things we need technology to do in the community. Every region, every city in the state needs that. Silicon Harlem is a model for that. We've got lots of strength that we're building on across the state, truly. And it's been such a great honor for me to be able to go to every one of these regions and see what has been happening, what people have been building, whether it's in the North Country, around Adirondacks, around Akwesasne in the St. Regis Mohawk Reservation, or go to Buffalo, Syracuse. Just amazing to see what's happening. And really the vision is that this can, this effort, urban, rural, really can unite the state around this vision of, what you call a tech-enabled community, but for all of our communities to be tech-enabled, in the way that you've envisioned and implemented here.
So if you guys have questions, start to get it together. I have one question to go with me. So top three things that ConnectALL has its, things that they pervert. Are they looking at like, I don't want to use the right words, not the wrong words, but what I'm trying to get at is there a thing like municipal broadband? Is there, you call ConnectALL, does that mean everyone's going to be connected?
Yeah.
Just the top three things that you can say you guys have principles around.
We have three goals. So one is address the digital divide, right, which means no disparities in terms of income, race, age, and who has access to technology. But it's not just that you have the access to it, it's that you can use it to address your educational, economic, health goals, civic engagement, access all the services you need. So address the digital divide is one part of our mandate. The other is everybody has to have a connection. and there still are about 120,000 locations across the state that do not have a broadband connection, and it is a clear mandate of, from the president to the governor, the legislature, to ConnectALL, that we address that need, and we're getting help from the federal government to do that. You'll hear from Jodia Vanel, who is New York's program officer for that, who's making sure that this process moves forward to benefit the people of New York. And then the third goal is what the legislature called ensure a robust broadband marketplace. So, that is really what we're talking about. Like I said, internet service providers can thrive in being a business, but that's true if you're a small business, you're a big business, and as a consumer, that you have choice. You don't have to take internet as it comes to you. You can decide what you want, how you want to buy it, how you want to use it. Your privacy is not like a trade. You don't have to trade your privacy to be able to go online. So those are the three goals that the legislature and the governor have laid out for us. And our job is to take these federal and state resources and align them with the needs of the community to achieve those goals.
Everybody got that? That's a good story right there. And, Josh has been at this a long time. And the great thing about Josh, he's very straightforward. He's very good, but he's a doggone good friend. He really is. He's a good friend to me. I see some hands up in the air. Yours is going to be quick. Yours is going to be quick.
Joe Quinn, I represent Everriser. And
Hi,
I'm
Joe.
just curious to your opinion about why the first go-around and why WiredScore and those organizations weren't successful in documenting where the network is today, right? There's something called open data that was supposed to track. So, you have neighborhoods and buildings that have 20 providers and 40 floors, and we have neighborhoods that have nothing.
Yeah.
So just, they say that sunlight is the best disinfectant. So how come that information never got out and put into a place where we can access it?
It's a good question. I'll say, specifically about WiredScore actually was, something that the New York State Economic Development Corporation helped start with a focus on, if people know LEED scores for like the environmental quality of a building. The idea was to give a connectivity score for the building. WiredScore, as it, developed its business model, focused more on high-end office buildings. And so, I think that kind of partly answers the question, right? Is that in a private market, in a totally private market-driven system, the information is there, right? But it's there for Class A high-end commercial buildings, and those are the buildings that have choice, and have like really high-end connectivity. So, and.
Okay,
Yeah, and-
let's
but I
go.
would say
We're
is,
going to go to the next question, Josh.
So
Go ahead,
ultimately,
finish it.
Okay.
You want to finish it? Go ahead.
Well, just the point is, it's about equity, right? And that even in a place like New York City, where there's lots of internet service providers, if you compare the situation, in Harlem or the Bronx to Midtown and, in those buildings, there is an inequity. And so you have to think about, how things compare to the neighbors, not just to a very baseline measure.
Hi, my name's Jose Garcia. I'm with Angel Hack, which is the largest pre-seed accelerator in the world. My question is about 6G in particular, if you could talk more about the health risks, because in New England, which has the highest quality of life in terms of the entire country, they vehemently rejected the 5G infrastructure out of concerns of like health concerns. And I know some of the community boards in Queens who got a hold of that information also vehemently rejected the 5G. So considering that it's just faster and faster, is this a greater health risk for communities?
Well, I understand that it's something that people raise as a concern. I don't know that 6G creates the speeds of it create a distinction. But I think what's helpful is transparency to make sure that the FCC continues to do its job to document the way these providers deliver the service and any research that may come out. But all the research that people have seen is that it's a safe technology, And it's commonplace to to be out there in the world. And I think it's the mandate that we really have is to make sure that it's equitably available, and that people have the ability to make full use of it.
All right, last question.
So, connectivity, I think it was Biden 2019, I'm not really sure. But all that to say, I became a trained digital navigator through the library system, but something that always comes up is seniors can't get to the library. Seniors don't even know how to navigate to even learn digital literacy. Has anything been done to really address our seniors and get accessibility to them? Because even with all the broadband and the digital, the training I have, I'm going to the seniors. They can't get out to all of those coalitions who are training folks and getting the information out there.
Well, I would say, first of all, thank you. The work you're doing, and also the second part of your question is the answer to the first part. So you are the solution. The question, I think, for ConnectALL is there a way that we can scale up the service that you're providing as a digital navigator that goes to the seniors, given the one-time funding that we have? Yeah, so I hope you.
Well, I just want to point out, I happen to be with a nonprofit who got trained by the library system.
Yeah.
So the only people who were trained are librarians, and they can't leave to go out to the community. So there are very few people like me.
Indeed, I will. In my experience, one of the things that when I was with the city that we did during the pandemic was distributed 10,000 connected devices to isolated seniors in public housing, with no contact. But then every senior who they got a call from NYCHA, and if they opted in to get it, UPS delivered to them, no contact, and then they got a phone call from Older Adults Technology Services to make sure that they could get the device set up, and then got them into a remote training environment. So it can be done, and I think that was, it really had never been tried until we had to do it under emergency circumstances to address that extreme isolation, for those seniors that were living alone during the pandemic, and it was a real lifesaver. Again, I think, so I think in your example, again, it can be done. The question is, how can we do it in a way that is scalable and sustainable, given that we don't have unlimited resources, so let's be strategic. But absolutely, seniors, people who are homebound, people who don't feel safe going into even a library as a government institution because of their documented status. What we really need to be thinking about is who have those connections already, what organizations, what people have those relationships, and how do we infuse digital equity into those networks, those relationships, and as you said, get those skills so that we're not asking people to come to a new institution or organization, but we're going to places where they're already comfortable and adding on to that. So helping find those networks is a key strategy.
It's a real thing. I'm so happy you asked that question.
And thank you again for the work.
We got to really get about it. Hey, let's give him some Harlem love. Joshua Breitbart. Give him some. He got some money, people. Clap him like you want some. Come on now.
Thank you.
My brother. Really, dude. Amazing. Amazing, as usual. So we're going to bring Jodia, Vanel. Where are you? Wherever you are, get up here with me. In the meantime, I'm going to one person introduce themselves very quickly. First of all, the Altmans here. Can you quickly say what you're doing before you leave? Let everybody hear that very quickly.
Sure. I'm Stan Altman. This is my wife, Claire. One of the things that I'm doing right now, interestingly enough, in terms of Harlem, is we're working with a lot of young people who are into digital games. We've created a program called Gaming Pathways and a new degree program at City College. And on February 3rd, we're opening up an exhibition called Video Games, The Great Connector at the Harlem School of the Arts, starting February 3rd, and it'll run for 8 weeks. And the admission's free, and you can go up on our website. You just go to No, HarlemVideoGamePopup.org, and you can register for a free ticket.
It's going to be very cool. It's going to be very cool. And this guy right here, just introduce yourself and how you know me.
Oh, my name is Vaughn Joseph.
Stand up. Get up. Introduce yourself.
My name is Vaughn Joseph. I worked with Clayton for like 15 years. So, yeah, here to come check out what he has to say on tech.
Surprise for me to see him.
And I know tech, so I want to see if he's on point with what he's saying. And I'm from Brooklyn. I came away from Brooklyn to hear this, so let's make it good.
Okay, all right. Brooklyn. All right. Come on, Jodia. Let's get it in. Bear with us. We got Jodia Vanel, by the way, who's been a great servant for the entire country in a lot of ways, and certainly working with us now throughout this whole infrastructure bill that's going on, where this money is going, and all the things that she has a lot on her palette, if you will. And by the way, I did reach out, and I'm going to have you connect, if you haven't already, with the FCC chair. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I got that. Yeah. So can you introduce yourself? I don't want to tell your whole biography. So you do your part.
Well, good evening, everyone. How are you? Good to see you too. Yes, Happy New Year's. Many blessings to everyone in the room and whoever's streaming or watching. You know, I was thinking about when I was coming here today, before I even introduced myself, I gotta praise the guy in the room and shout out to Assemblyman Taylor for all of the things that he does when I go to Albany. He's always there to help me get my extra meetings that are needed. So thank you so much. But I was thinking about, Clayton Banks. Who is he? The governor has the state of the state. The mayor has the state of the city. The borough presidents have the state of the borough. Assembly members, legislators have the state of the district. And then there's Clayton Banks with his Expo 2024. Who do you think you are, sir?
Well, based on that, I'm last.
No,
Sound like a low-level dude.
You are the greatest. Look at this room. I want everyone to just give yourself a round of applause in Clayton for packing this room on a Thursday night in New York City. There's so much competition, and we all chose to be here. So thank you for everything that you do for New York City, for technology, for digital equity.
Well, thank you.
All right. So with that, I think Josh already alluded to some of this. So thank you so much. And I want to give many praises to the ConnectALL office, Josh Breitbart, our new first ever, or kinda-ish ever, digital equity lead for New York State. You also had Nazir Jeffries here, who's leading that initiative too. This is a first time in the state of New York that this is happening, and really all across the country. So I really want to give all the kudos. I can tell you so much about all of the milestones that we will have, but the administration gave me about 10 points, talking points that I need to get through, but major work that takes place in New York City with so many different partners, New York State. So congratulations in advance to everyone that's helping here. So Jodia Vanel, I'm the federal program officer dedicated to the administration under the agency, the United States Department of Commerce, along with another agency called the National Telecommunications Information Administration. And what we are essentially are the technological advisors to the executive office, so President Biden, the White House, and everyone. We are on a critical mission called Internet for All. Anyone in the room has heard of Internet for All? All right, well, that's really good for me because now I really get to talk to you all about it, right? Internet for All is literally what Josh said. We are connecting the entire United States and the territories to the internet. So as you all know, we all experienced this during the pandemic. The internet is extremely important to our lives. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what your economic status is. It is truly the great equalizer to performing at your best. And so, both houses, the Senate, Congress, decided that this was really important and set aside legislation, statutory requirements for this to be. And so back in 2021 or so in the infrastructure bill, critical infrastructure includes the internet. And so we are on a mission to connecting the entire country. It is the president's top priority to do so. So what happened is that we set up shop called Internet for All, our critical mission. There's one of me representing every great state. I just happen to represent the greatest state in the world, New York. And we're here to do this. And so we work extremely close with Governor Hochul's team, the broadband team, ConnectALL. Your homework from me today, you should know 2 websites. You should know the New York ConnectALL website, because that is literally going to be the place that you find all public information about every and anything that they are doing in the state of New York. The other site is Internet for All. That's where you'll learn about all of the national platform on what we're doing from the administration. You'll see everything there. You'll see all opportunities to get engaged. So some of the major points that we have to talk about today was the milestone. We reached a major milestone on December 27th. I'll just go back to around, I think it's June 27th or 30th. I wasn't invited, but the great Josh Breitbart went to the White House with President Biden, along with all of his peers, the broadband office executives, to make the big announcement about the allocation that would be coming into each and every single state. I'm happy to say that out of the $42 billion, New York will receive $664 million. But in order for them to receive that, we need your help, right? So what did Josh and the team do along with the rest of the country? We made it to our next big milestone on December 27th, where 56 out of 56 territories submitted their initial proposals for broadband deployment in the United States. That is
That's
like,
New York.
that's an accomplishment,
That's
right?
New York.
No one was
baby.
late. What that really means now is that my team, all of us, have to review all of these plans, and I've already heard that New York is so good, and I'm so excited for what's to come with that. So what does that mean for everyone in the room? Some of the buzzwords that we talked about: digital equity. This is where you really get to, be part of this. The New York office is going to be submitting their final digital equity report to us, or their plan rather, on in February, and that will showcase what is going to happen. What's their plans after not only connecting you to the internet, but what is the plans? Josh already went through about why digital equity is really important. The other part of that is the critical infrastructure, building it out from New York City all the way up towards the Canadian border, covering and making sure that everyone is connected. From our national side, we want to make sure everyone is connected in the United States of America. That's why we're investing so many funds to our governors, to our states, to ensure that this is accomplished. And I'm really excited. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It is such an important project, and it's so impactful. And I think we're all here and really honored to be part of that.
Let's just clap right now. I mean, Jesus. That is amazing. I want to build on one thing that you talked about or mentioned. What do you want us to do? What do you want us to do in this audience right now, and all of us that we know other people? What do you want us doing?
Well, let's do a little pop quiz. What were the 2 websites that I told you that are critically important? Throw it out. Thank you. The ConnectALL website and Internet for All. You have to be engaged. You have to know what's going on to be part of this. I don't want to steal Josh's thunder, but there's so much to do. There are businesses that are going to be part of this process, right? There are going to be, if you just look at the Internet for All, there are going to be opportunities to get involved in digital equity. Your job is to be informed and also spread the word out, because everyone truly, truly, truly benefits from what we're doing. We're connecting the entire United States so that you can thrive. You can be the best citizens in the United States. You can be totally involved. This is a great example of democracy. And so I think it's equally important for you to reciprocate and to, get back in and make sure that Josh and the entire team is equipped by giving your insights, by coming to things like this, supporting organizations like Silicon Harlem, supporting your local organizations in your community, speaking up, and making sure that, the unserved is served, the underconnected or unconnected is connected at the end of the day.
So if you guys have questions, I'm going to stand up and go to you. But I do have one question. Where's the money going to?
You have to read the plans.
All right.
Right?
Well,
No, the money is going to, Josh
Right.
talked about it, it's to build the critical infrastructure. So what does that really mean? It means that someone's digging, someone is putting this stuff together, someone is connecting. We talked about how this is a great example of fiber connection. This is exactly what we'll be doing throughout the entire United States. And then there's a digital equity side. After we're connected, then what happens? What can you do with the internet? We're going to make sure that we're working with groups that are educating folks, that are making sure that you have devices that are really supporting you so that you can thrive after you are connected.
so certainly there's a lot of skill in any of this, but there's plenty of people here that have those skills. So take advantage of it. If you never had a shovel before, I can teach you how to do that. Anyone have any questions? Here we go. I only can do up to 3 questions.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Pedro Hernandez. I work with Empire State Development Corporation here at Harlem CDC.
Yep.
And my main question involving Internet for All is its inclusivity of native lands and reservations.
Mm-hmm.
How are they involved, and how are we in the endeavor of bringing internet and access of internet and connectivity to everyone? How are we taking care of our native brothers and sisters?
Yeah, absolutely. Josh talked about some of the requirements. So we have mandates, right? And we have statutory requirements, which includes tribal lands. New York, I believe there's like 8 or 9 or so federally recognized tribal lands. And so what Josh did, and I traveled with him for several months, we went all across the New York regions, 10 of them. And so we met with various folks. That included certain tribes. Now, this is sort of kind of off the record, but it is also a known fact that we have to be extremely respectful of those tribes. And we went to them and we talked, we engaged with them, but we work at their own pace and what they want. And so we were able to work with several tribes successfully, and we're continuing to build that relationship. I have to say that from the federal government side, NTIA in particular, they have hired a whole group of folks that are actually from tribes all across the United States. So when we in New York need a resource, we need to tap into our tribes, I call my contact and I say, this is what we're going to be doing in New York, please help us. And they've been really engaged. But yeah, it is a very sensitive matter, but we've talked to some tribes, and Josh actually went up to, I believe it was like Mohawk, where he went to their camp. So that was an accomplishment to be invited. That means that there's been trust that's been developed. So the group has been fully engaging, but we engage at their pace.
Great question. Okay. Here we go. Next question.
Hi, I'm a neophyte to this, so I don't know how the procurement works, but who's
I
designing?
don't know either.
Who's designing layout? Because I would think if you're going to put bandwidth in Harlem, you want to put it as future-proof as possible. You know, Web3, the ability to buy, sell, and trade bandwidth, et cetera. I don't think that's available anywhere else, and it make Harlem the little Wakanda. But how do you implement that? Who's doing the designing? You know, what talent is being procured and how?
Yeah, so we are not at that stage as yet, but I'll just give you like the full setup. So the federal government, as I said, in the Critical Infrastructure Act set aside all of the funds and also put all of the statutory requirements together called the Notice of Funding Opportunity, aka NOFO. In that, we reached out to all of the governors all across the United States and said, hey, do you want to be part of this? Luckily for us, every single governor stepped up and said, we want this in our state. When we did that, that was called the letter of intent. We then moved into working with our states. So my counterpart is the state of New York. We provide the funds, but we empower the state of New York to make the decisions based on the feedback that you are providing to them. So as I said, we engage for several months to collect critical data to understand what the true needs are of the state. That was in our initial proposal that Josh and the team thoroughly worked on for almost a year. After that approval of that initial proposal is done by my team and the Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Department of Commerce / the Cabinet Secretary Romano, we will then extend funds to to New York. Josh and the team will then take those plans that we have approved and then start the implementation. So right now, I have to say that our next phase, there are many different phases in the process over the next 5 to 7 years, but the next phase that Josh is about to open up is what's called the challenge process. That's where people can challenge to see if broadband is really available in an area. Then after that, he's really waiting to see when we will approve his initial proposal. Then he has 1 year to finalize that proposal, and then the funds then keep on trickling in during that time. Then we get to our sub-grantee selection, and I think that's where all of you all in the room will be pretty interested in, because that's where you get to engage. So realistically, what are we looking at? Internet service providers, those who may contract with them to be able to do the actual critical infrastructure. So Empire State Development Corporation is leading that initiative. That's why I say please stay in contact with them via that website. It is extremely transparent. Everything that's going on is listed there, including many different forums for all different types of stakeholders. But that is coming next once we finish getting to the initial proposal. To be continued.
So thank you so much for sharing. My name's Jose Garcia. I'm with Angel Hack. And the context for this question is that typically with government contracts, it tends to go to businesses that are that have the tight relationships. And sometimes the better ideas come from startups that are not as well known or not known at all. For example, I'm in contact with a company that's building infrastructure in Africa, in Ghana specifically, and they have an office in New York. But they have no idea how to compete for this, and they're a black enterprise. Mm-hmm. So how can we help these startups that don't have brand recognition because they're very busy building their product out or their market strategy to have a viable chance in competing for these contracts, because they're not building blockchain. They're building something entirely different because they know that blockchain isn't infallible.
Mm-hmm. So from the administration's perspective, and I know this really well in New York, procurement is key, and engagement and making sure that there's fair opportunity to everyone is very important. But for us, we want to make sure that MWBEs are part of the process. Like, everyone gets to be part of the process, right? So as I said, everyone in here is a true stakeholder. Your job is to share the information. So that company, you should be sharing it, and you should be sending them where, to what website? Exactly, because Josh will be, at the end of the day, Empire State Development will make the decision on who they will be contracting with. But there's the national guidelines of making sure that everyone is engaged. So that's why we're going around to different folks, we're going around to different stakeholders and making sure that they're aware of this. MWBEs are part of that process. Small businesses are part of that process. Women-owned businesses. Everyone is part of this process.
We got one last question here.
You guys have a lot of questions.
So I was trying to understand why penetration for fiber technology is so low in New York. I'm confused about that, and I think maybe you're the one who spoke about it when you first started. Why fiber has, why the penetration in New York is low. But also, I wondered who. Okay.
That one is extremely outside of my scope. I'm a former Microsoft executive, but I'm a relationship person. Josh and the team will get into the details of those things. But yes, cost is extremely.
He just answered my question.
Yes, cost is everywhere in the topography and the location. It comes down to, your business operation. It's very hard.
Okay. Then my second question real quick is that, so the federal government has these programs which are wonderful. The only problem is that in terms of actually measuring the performance, having metrics that actually tell you this is working, I sort of wonder whether that really happens. And I'll give you an example. So the Affordable Connectivity Program, for instance, you contract, I think, that service out to the current vendors, Verizon, T-Mobile. Those businesses often don't want to do business with low-income groups because I don't know. I just know that is, for me, the experience that I've had when I've been in that situation, and many other friends. There are many barriers that they set up in order to not service that population. So I've always wondered, does the government have a scorecard? Do you actually put matrix in place to say, this is what our goal is, this is what has happened, let's understand what's happening with customers who are being denied?
Yeah, no, great question and great concern. I can only speak on my program because everything that I say to you has been approved, and that's the FCC. But I do believe that, off the record, in my opinion, that businesses are trying to do their best, right? So I can say from my program, I have to report to the White House all the time, okay? I don't play games. Josh doesn't play games in New York. I probably think we're probably the most competitive people in the country. They're always like, oh, New York, oh God, they're gonna come to us with all of these questions. Everything is compliance based for me. At the end of the day, these are taxpayer dollars, and you have the right to complain about every and anything that you want, and we have to answer to that. We have a program, as I mentioned, we're by law, right? It's the federal law. We have statutory requirements that are in place. Josh, I think you probably want to take this part of the question, and if you look at the initial proposals, you'll see that there will be measurements in place. There will be criteria, scoring criteria, all of those things. We're never going to miss the mark because I have the White House after me. I have the Inspector General. We have all these measures in place to ensure that we are performing, and we're performing within our timeline to get this done, and that we have a set amount of allocation, and we have to maximize that as much as possible. But in the initial proposal, when it's shared further, if you haven't looked at it as yet via the, what website? Internet for All website, you'll see that there are measures in place for engaging with businesses for, really measuring out what we're doing for the next several years. Josh, do you want to say anything on that?
Well, while he's coming over, if you don't mind, Curtis wants to say something.
Hey, Josh, pleasure meeting you. Clayton, thanks for putting this together. Curtis Archer, Harlem Community Development Corporation, a subsidiary of Empire State Development. So you heard time and time again, MWBE, Minority and Women-Owned Business Enterprise. So please, if you're seeking your certification, remember you don't pay a dime. We are your tax dollars at work. So seek us out right there at 125th Street at the Harlem State Office Building. Please, this is one of my board members right here, the Assembly member. So please, he'll let me know if I'm not doing a good job. So please,
He'll let me know too. He'll
absolutely
definitely send me a
so
message.
212-961-4100. Repeat, 212-961-4100. Ask for either Brian Cook or Elaine Caesar. Thank you.
And if you ever get his number, he always answers your call.
Oh.
All right, so
I definitely want to give Josh. I think
Josh,
that was
did
a
you wanna
really
come up and
important.
I don't know, Jodia, what do you want to? What are you
It's
doing?
about the measurements in place. It's about the measurements in place to ensure that we are meeting guidelines, we are following protocols, we are producing at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, it's like Jodia said, we publish all these. A lot of these are set in place by the federal programs, but then we bring that to the Empire State Development Board of Directors for approval. But we're been out talking to people about what are the highest priorities. And we're setting the scoring and the criteria based on what we hear from you all. And like Jodia said, we've got a report, back to our board of directors, back to the National Telecommunications Information Administration, report to the goes up to the governor, goes up to the White House, but also, I just told you, I'm going to be right back here. So if we don't get it right, you're going to let me know, and we're going to, keep working on it. So that's, that the accountability is like, yes, we've got criteria in place, and we've got a lot of money to work with, and we're going to be responsible stewards of that money. But the community engagement is the key accountability measure, and that's why part of what makes it sustainable is also the coalition building, and having a strong civic engagement coalition, a base of political power that you can hold people who have been given this privilege to be in this role accountable for the needs of the community. So I think it really we have these formal measures in place, lots of accountability that we follow and report through, but ultimately, we as Jodia said, we have to be answerable to the people of the state of New York, and and that means being in these rooms and having these conversations and answering the question at the beginning of the process and coming back at the end and answering it again. So, meet up in January, conference in October. We can continue to be out here and answer the questions.
And I'll just add the last point to that. This is such a high-profile mission that there's actually a live dashboard that's been created, so you know exactly where each state is, which sometimes rattles states, but not New York, because New York is always knocking it out the park. So I definitely want to give you kudos and your entire team and everyone for doing this. So
it's very much a federal, state, local community collaboration to get this done. So, we've been working in partnership all across the state. And, again, it's just great to have partners like Silicon Harlem also to be collaborating with, Greater Harlem Community Development Corporation, all these structures. When it comes to connectivity, everybody has a stake in it. That's the power of what we're capable of doing in these years ahead.
If I could say what Jodia said a little bit earlier, that everyone needs the internet. And if you really want a good way of thinking of it, I go a little bit further. If you don't have the internet, basically, you're no longer a citizen. Hello. I have a car. Therefore, I get a ticket. I always pay my tickets online. Mm-hmm. And one day I said, what if I didn't have online? So I called. And the first thing it said, the best way to get this ticket done is to go online. If you don't have it, you're no longer a citizen. If they're going to move your civics to the internet, you got to have it. So I go a little bit further on this. It's that strong, to your point. Give these people like a great Harlem clap. I mean, whoa, amazing. Man, oh man. It ain't me, man. This is a we. This is a we, and I want to stay connected together so we can make sure that we continue to push them to do the right things, which they're already doing great work. So we want to be behind that. We want to help. We want to be, partners. We want to really make sure this works for everywhere, but certainly right in our communities right now. Thank both of you. Thank God for you. I really appreciate it. Any final comments you want to say at Vanel? Otherwise, I got to get another team up rolling up here.
No, you all are rock stars.
Thank you guys very much. Thank you so much. So I would normally say take a break, but we've got a presentation right now. We got to get behind our startups. We got a startup right now that's about to talk about something very important to all of us, health. So come on up here. Let's get the whole family going here. The whole family come up here and do their thing. Support this. Joshua, thank you so much. Jodia, thank you so much. Al, thank you so much.
Good afternoon, good evening, beautiful people. It's an honor and a privilege to be here among such wonderful crowd. I want to thank you so much for this opportunity. First, I have to give thank you to Mr. Banks for giving me this wonderful opportunity. And it's such a pleasure to be here. So what I'm talking about, a little bit about myself. Yes, a little bit about myself. My name is Karlene Oakley-Scott. And I've been a registered nurse for over 20 years. Say nothing, I'm only 25. So, pardon me? 21. Yes, 21. Thank you. You said my real age. So my purpose here is really talking about healthcare and bridging the gap, because from a nurse's perspective, we have a different view from when you're a family member in a healthcare setting. So what I did is there's an app that we came up with to kind of bridge the gap with communication. Because one of the biggest challenges we face in our healthcare system is communication and the use of technology to bridge that gap with communication. So here at OmniEagle, that's the name of the app. Our mission is to incorporate innovative technology to rebuild and sustain quality in healthcare settings. The OmniEagle app is designed to revolutionize communication within healthcare facilities and families, aiming to restore peace of mind, compassion, and confidence back in our healthcare system. When my mom was admitted to a long-term care facility, juggling work, family, and her medical care became so overwhelming and devastating. Communication with various providers was difficult and at times impossible, which added to more distress. I'm sure we've all been there. And on the provider side, for healthcare providers, communication within the facility setting is one of the most challenging aspects. Keeping track and documenting important patient information is crucial, but often difficult, leading to dangerous consequences. The impact of our pandemic of 2020, that's something we will never forget. This will live on for us for years and years. The pandemic of 2020 had a profound impact on how families cared for their loved ones. Remember, visitations were seized, leading to fear, guilt, and loss of control due to insufficient communication, because a lot of it was not communicating. We didn't know what was going on. Sometimes we felt that the healthcare system or the government system had more information that they were leading on. So communication was always a key factor that impacted the way how we now visualize our health. The healthcare system was significantly impacted by the pandemic, with communication becoming insufficient, tearing families apart, and bringing about fear and uncertainty. OmniEagle's app. So now the app's unique feature. The app's feature includes scheduling appointments, communicating with healthcare providers, and staying informed through non-urgent and urgent notifications. Facilities can utilize the internal feature to communicate with providers regarding patient conditions, ensuring coordinated care and timely interventions. Stay informed anywhere. I remember when my mom was admitted, it was devastating. I didn't want to go on vacations because how would the facility notify me unless they have WhatsApp, which we know most of them don't have. So how would they stay connected? So whether you're in town or away, this app ensures that you're always aware and can track progress through short video clips sent to loved ones or just a non-urgent notification or an urgent notification. Rebuilding the confidence in healthcare is what we're about. Families face fear, guilt, and loss of control due to the lack of communication and visitation restrictions. That was before OmniEagle. Now, after this app, what we're sure is going to happen is that the OmniEagle app aims to restore that peace of mind, compassion, and confidence in healthcare by enabling seamless communication and timely updates. Challenges. Insufficient communication always results in fear, uncertainty, and lack of control. The solution, again, OmniEagle app, which provides a platform for scheduling appointments, communicating with providers, and sharing progress with loved ones. You will never have to be on hold for a long period of time, only to be connected just to get disconnected. How many times, I'll connect you here to this department, and guess what? The phone rings and you're disconnected. With this app, it's gonna ensure that this is a thing of the past. Improved healthcare transparency, and that's what this app is about. You will never have to feel, well, maybe the facilities are hiding something, why they're not picking up the phone, why I'm not getting real-time communication. Previously, communication among providers, facilities, and families was often fragmented and insufficient. OmniEagle app integrates all aspects of healthcare communication, ensuring transparency and timely updates for all stakeholders. And it's empowering families, and caregivers are empowered with real-time information and the ability to stay connected, easing fear and uncertainty. Enhanced healthcare connection. So I just split it in 3 different benefits. Benefit number 1 is a seamless facility provider communication. Benefit number 2 is the real-time updates and progress tracking. Benefit number 3 is improved transparency and family empowerment. Empowering our healthcare providers. Efficient coordination. Healthcare providers benefit from improved communication, leading to efficient coordination, reduced errors, and better patient outcomes. Because with communication, I work in the healthcare system, like I said, for a number of years. I now work with the Department of Health, and communication is really the key to what's going to bridge the gap and put that healing back into healthcare. The app facilitates and enhances family engagement, enabling healthcare providers to share real-time information and easing families' worries. Restoring compassion, again, that's what we're about. The OmniEagle app aims to restore that compassionate care by enabling personalized communication and updates, fostering a sense of trust and comfort. By empowering families, we believe, and healthcare providers, that trust is restored, leading to improved patient outcomes and overall satisfaction. Positive impact. Families experience peace of mind through seamless communication and updates, reducing, again, fear and restoring confidence. OmniEagle app rebuilds confidence in our healthcare by bridging communication gaps and ensuring that transparency. So that's it, people. I just didn't want to bore you with it. I just want you to understand the importance of the communication in healthcare, the importance of how we have lost faith in the healthcare system. And I believe the pandemic really affected that. So thank you for learning about our transformative power of the OmniEagle app. Please join us for a fruitful Q&A session to address any inquiries. OmniEagle app will be available for download on March 2024 on Apple and Android. We've also been involved in the testing pilot, and we have received tremendous outpouring of testimonials of how this app has been integrated into the system and how great it is. Next slide. Let's see some of the testimonials. I have one from a Dr. Smith, and he said the OmniEagle app has completely transformed the way we communicate in our healthcare organization. It has improved efficiency, coordination, and patient care. Nurse Johnson reports that she highly recommends OmniEagle app to healthcare professionals. It is user-friendly, intuitive, and has greatly enhanced the communication with the patient. The family members also chimed in and said they're grateful for the app. It has made for easier for them to stay connected with the healthcare facilities and receive updates and be involved in the healthcare of their loved ones. Thank you so much. Anyone have any questions, or we embark on a question and answer?
Well, wait a minute. First, you got to hear that. Wow. That's amazing. Health. We're going to do this a little different. We're going to do this different. We've been sitting for a while. I want everybody to get up for a few minutes, come talk to her, ask your questions, stay around here, have that conversation. Only 5 minutes, and then we're going to end this with anyone that has something to say about what you're working on. I want to hear what you're working on, what you want to get connected to. Everyone's get a chance, if you want to say something. So 5 minutes of just chill for a minute, get another empanada, which hopefully they're gone already. And please, this is real stuff, right? That's all, I mean, really. By the way, I do have one question. What do you need? How do you move this forward? Do you need investment? What are you looking for right now?
Now is what we're leaning towards is just stakeholders, word of mouth. That's our and investors, definitely, to move this thing along. This thing is groundbreaking and revolutionary. This thing is definitely bridging the gap. I've been in this field for so long and understand the importance of communication. I work with the Department of Health, and guess what? I'm the complaint manager. And guess what? 99% of my complaints are about. They didn't tell me, I didn't get notified, or they left a message and I couldn't hear, or I was away. So, and this is where their fear and loss of control comes in. So this is why this app, I believe, is revolutionary and is definitely going to transform the face of healthcare.
We already got a lot of support behind it. Ask your questions, go on and talk to people. So you guys can talk for the next 4 or 5 minutes. Then everybody come back in, and we're going to have people just talk about what they're doing, including you.
Oh, including me?
Yeah, if you want. Say, here we go.
Blessings, everybody. My name is Skip Kroll. I'm the founder and CEO of Sickless.org. We're a nonprofit designed to teach underserved black youth about the global financial system through hip hop. We have two main components, which is classroom-based training and gaming. And gaming is the product to meet the students where they're at. We have a partnership with Carnegie Mellon to design a game called Bodega Budget, which is designed, which is a play off of the classic New York City bodega, where the students and the players will be able to learn critical business and financial skills. And I'm in a process now of building out the next version of it.
Harlem Love. Who's next? Come on. 60 seconds. That guy is clocking you.
Oh, shoot. Hi, everybody. My name is Janine Harper. I run Brooklyn Robot Foundry. It's a after-school robotics program for kids. I'm looking for spaces and schools to partner with. Interested in doing summer camps, and we also do after-school, in-school enrichment, STEM Day, you name it. It's a hands-on robotics program for kids from 6 to 12 years old. Thank you.
Wow, did you say you need a partner or something like that? Yes. All right. Catch it up, catch it up. Here we go, this one. 1 second. 60 seconds, he's clocking you. Introduce yourself.
I'm Jamal Thomas. My daughter and I started a company called Black on Black Education. We are focused in on making sure that the education space becomes much more centered around what students want. In addition to that, I'm working with a couple of friends right now where we are launching a new political party called the Create the Future Party. You guys are going to see a parody presidential campaign coming from me over the course of the next couple of weeks. It was focused on education, innovation, community development, and political innovation. So that's going to be some fun, and I hope y'all are going to consider joining the Create the Future Party.
Yes. Meet Jamal. Make sure you talk to him. He's got a lot more behind him that you would even know. So who's next? Here we go. He's clocking 60 seconds.
Gotcha. Hello, everyone. My name is Royden Jeffrey. I'm the co-founder of Listed Bee. We're a social booking platform for beauty and wellness services. So it's kind of like TikTok, but just for beauty services with the ability to book appointments and pay for it as well, all in one platform. We're an engineering team, so we're building out the tech all by ourselves. We just landed a partnership with one of the largest beauty institutions here in New York City, and we're looking for funding to build out that part of the technology so we can incorporate with them and get the partnership going.
That is cool. Come back over here. We'll work with you. Get over here. You ready?
Okay, hi. My name is Ken Granderson. I've been creating software primarily for the Black community for 30 years. Blackfacts.com, world's first Black history encyclopedia. It's been up nonstop since 1997. We have our Black Facts for Schools system that lets teachers teach Black history from the palm of their hands. We're in, oh, look at that. You know, we have exercises, boom, 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 43 schools in 13 states. This year, trying to get civic engagement with a couple of different demos. I'm probably running out of time, so Google me, Ken Granderson. You'll see 30 years of unapologetically Black technology. I'm Bed-Stuy, do or die, grew up. Now it's new and improved Bed-Stuy, but that's where my family's at. Thank you. Clayton is the man.
And let me tell you, Black Facts. Every morning you get a new Black fact, every single day. I'm glad I didn't, get two things going. But anyway, it's every day, and it's profound. It really is. Are you out of here? Yeah, I'm ready. Oh, you're ready for your own? Clock yourself then, my man. Clock myself. All right.
Hi, everybody. My name's Jose Garcia. Again, for those of you that haven't met me, I'm actually wearing two hats today. So I'm with Brooklyn Community Board 5, which is East New York. We do need a partnership with the Harlem Black community because, we feel like the gentrification is coming, and so having the support of other Black communities would help us to stand our ground. That's literally how we feel. So if anyone has ties to the East New York community or wants ties, please come talk to me. And then the second ask I have, and I have 30 seconds left, is I organize a tech conference that lets people turn their ideas into tech products, and we try to incubate those products into actual companies. So we want to do something beyond just the downtown Manhattan, whether it's in the Bronx, whether it's here in Harlem, maybe East New York, to really encourage minorities and women who are underrepresented in the entrepreneur space, and the VC panel. So we're also looking for an all-female judge panel for that conference. So we're looking for females that are industry experts, VCs, or people that basically are seasoned startup founders. Because when people see women as role models, they're much more likely to give it a shot themselves.
Okay. That was 80 seconds. Anyone else? Who else wants to get up and say something? Come on. Another genius here. You buff.
Hello, hi everyone. My name is Christian. I'm a founder of a company called TBX, T-Shirts by Christian. We're an arts affiliate marketing company, meaning this is my art on my shirt. And when you or someone else buys this or posts this, we give you 50% of the proceeds.
Wow! Got everybody interested right there. That's one way to drop the mic. Dang. Very nice. Who's next? We got 3 or 4 more people to go. Let's go. Who else wants to go? Someone? If not, that's okay too. But if anybody wants to say anything, come on in, sir.
I'll do one.
Okay, you right after here.
Okay. I'm with the Internet Society, and we had a project that's now gone independent
It's called NYC Mesh, and it's expanding into Harlem right now. And what it is it isn't an ISP, it's community-owned infrastructure. There's a donation of $20 a month. You spend about $150 to get the router on your roof, and basically that's it. And you own it. You're not paying anybody else. It's yours. It belongs to the community. Nobody's spying on your internet. nycmesh.net.
Pretty good on timing. They're good friends of ours too. Thank you, Jolie.
Damn, no joke for me. I was laughing at every one of them. No, my name is Juan Vasquez, and I'm a financial agent with New York Life, and I come to these events just to make sure that because the reason why we're here and so far behind the technology phase is because the financial phase left us. So finances are very important, and I'm not talking about life insurance. There's other things and tools about finances. Life insurance is the floor, because the way that they're selling life insurance and the way that they're articulating life insurance is almost like the end-all be-all where you're gonna get generational. No. Life insurance is to protect your family from not having anything while you're going out to get all these beautiful companies and all this hustling that you're doing. So if you don't make it there and life catches you, well, then your family's not suffering for that. It's almost like you shifting the risk. It's almost like risk management. That's it. That's what it is. You're not gonna get rich with doing it. You're not gonna borrow $1 million. You're just gonna protect your family.
Talking about money. We know some people that love money. So, come on. Oh, you out? Okay, good seeing you. We'll reconnect, all right? Please, come on up. Uh-oh, now we're talking like a real creative person, another genius.
Hey everyone, my name is Dave Flinch. I have a company called Sonic Arts Editorial. I do sound design, editorial for feature film, TV shows. I'm looking to move up into Harlem, open a facility here in Harlem, looking for support on that venture. So please reach out. Thanks.
That's real. We'll talk to Curtis about that too. He told me about that. So we'll make sure that. George, come up here. This is my little brother, George Cano Moreno. And please give him a hand. Did you like the empanadas? The empanadas, come on now. Just introduce yourself and the restaurants that you have.
Okay. How you guys doing? Jorge Cano Moreno, Grano de Cafe, Latin Chef League. Have a place in Queens, and I'm opening up a new restaurant in Inwood in March. Everybody's welcome. Clayton's been my mentor for 30 years, my big brother. I love him. I think I love him more than my own brothers, to be honest with you. Beautiful person. What he's done in Harlem, what he's done his whole career is amazing. I'm the end product of a lot of great advice and just good mentorship. So God bless everybody. I'm glad you guys like the food.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Come on.
Good evening. I got 60 seconds. My name is Ivy Biddle. Good evening, everyone. This is fantastic, fantastic. I wear a couple of different hats, do a few different things, but I think what might be most advantageous and beneficial for everyone here tonight, there are still people that are W-2 employees, right? W-2, W-4s. So what we do, I deal with financial literacy, and we help people save money. We show people about debt elimination. We do credit repair. We do a cash flow strategy program, and we hold you by the hand. But number one, many people are taking home money, well, let's just say they're leaving it there, and then getting it on the time when it's time to do your income tax return. Guess what? You can take that money now. So we have a program that shows you how to put more money in your pocket now, today. Because we're all entrepreneurs. We know that there's many of us that are doing 2 things, 3 jobs, 4 jobs, et cetera, et cetera. So get with me, or I can just give you, let me see, what should I give you? Just look up Ivy Biddle on Facebook, Ivy Biddle, B-I-T-T-L-E on LinkedIn, and you can message me or what have you, and I can get some information to you, because it's very important. People don't know it. Sometimes you can take them an extra $300, $600, or $1,000 back into your household on a weekly basis when you're getting checks, but people don't know how to structure their W-4, for example, okay? So credit repair, very, very inexpensive. We hold your hand. I told you debt elimination, but we do a lot of different things. And we also teach people about crypto. We teach people about how to set up wallets because that's where the world is going, right? We know that's where a lot of things are going. Digital money, that's where a lot of things are going. So we want to help people. There's a lot of people that don't have a clue and they're afraid of it. It's nothing to be afraid of. You just need to have a little more education, so that's what we do as well. I do help desks from time to help people to show them how to actually set up a wallet. Most of us are familiar with Cash App, right? But there's a lot of different ones out there that give you a lot more options. And then you can just start small. You just take baby steps, and then we can help you along the way, okay? So feel free to just hit me up. I'm right here. Thank you all for being here. And thank you.
If you haven't, I know, we're going to, before you leave, make sure you meet with that young lady right over there. She's in that exact same space. Thank you very much. Money is serious. Come on, Hans. We got 2 more to go. 60 seconds, brother.
All right, if anybody got ChatGPT 4, they allow you to launch your own bots. So I put one out called Idea Innovator. It can help you refine your startup idea using ChatGPT 4. You have to pay the $20, I think, but love and support. That's it.
He is a master on that, by the way. Master on it. Who's next? Come on, get over here. You know you always got something to say. Yes, you. Come on over here. Say something. Another genius here. Come on. Another Harlem guy.
Hello, everybody. My name is Darryl Challenger. I am a software developer. I build all kinds of stuff, from websites to applications. Whatever you need, that's what I do. I don't know how to hold a mic, apparently. So if anybody ever needs any help in that area, I'm always around to help.
There we go. Anyone else? Anyone else? Going once, going twice. I'm counting to 50. Number 3. No, I'm kidding. So thank you guys very much for a great night for us. All of us, let's keep the word we, keep inspo, and let's make it all work together, all right? Thank you for coming here, really. It's an honor. Give yourselves, yes, thank you. And give a hand for Jolie, who did this whole thing on YouTube. So everybody saw it on YouTube as well.